Hi, scholars, and welcome back to Writing with Miss Kitchens. We are now on day 40 of writing. Now, just to refresh your memory, we are now in a brand new unit. We're in the narrative unit where you're going to be storytelling again about an important event that happened using order to express exactly what happened. Hopefully, yesterday you were able to do that during your have to. Today, we're going to be adding more to our writing, talking about what happened, adding details, and so on. Before we go into our mini lesson, Miss Kitchens love to go over the student learning outcomes. The student learning outcomes I want to be very clear on are the things that you will learn after today's lesson. Okay? So when you are finished with today's lesson, this is what you are expected to have done in your writing, and this is what you are expected to know for your future writing. Students will be able to, well, that's you, I draw stories first to remember exactly who was there, what the person was doing, and the sequence. Now remember, sequence means order. First, second, next, last. I record events in sequence across the pages of a booklet. I use real life storytellers, family members, famous storytellers as mentors. Now, I will be demonstrating how you can do that by reading a story today to you to show you how the author was using it in a step-by-step process. Here are the Common Core standards for this unit. It says students will use a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing to narrate a single event to several loosely linked events. Tell about the events in the order in which they occurred and provide a reaction to what happened, right? Here are your writing materials for today. You're going to need your writing paper or your pre-made book, your pencil or some pencils just in case the pencil you're using breaks, some crayons, and an illustrated rubric checklist that I am going to upload on Google Classroom with. All right, little happy writers. So we already know that a personal narrative is just a storytelling writing piece, right? And we've been doing that in our past writing. However, we are going to dive a little more deeper into making sure that we're talking about something in sequence, in order. First, second, next, last. Okay? Here is our anchor chart. It says personal narratives. A personal narrative means it's something coming personally from you, something you've experienced with your own self, you've seen with your own eyes, you've listened with your own ears, and you probably tasted with your own mouth. That's why you see here, this is a nice, juicy, fresh watermelon because most likely the person who was telling the story is talking about a nice watermelon that they was able to taste during their story. So when you're writing a personal narrative, you always focus on small moments from your life. Okay. So a small moment for Miss Kitchens that she was able to focus on was my birthday, right? That's a big moment, but I can actually call it a small moment because it is actually something that happens for me every single year. So as time goes on, I forget about details. So I have to remind myself by focusing on the small moments. You write it in the same way you would tell someone. So just like I'm teaching you and I'm talking to you about how to write a personal narrative, that's what you do when you're writing about your personal narrative, your story. You just write it as if you're talking to someone. You start with a catchy lead, the hook. Now, you see here's a picture of a fish and there's a hook. Now, when you go out fishing, you're going to need a worm on the end of your hook to catch your fish, right? Well, you need a catchy lead in order to catch your readers into reading your story. Use details to tell who, what, when, where, and why. Have a beginning, middle, and ending. And use transition words like first, next, then, and last. All right, so here is a book that I'm going to read to you today. It's called What Comes Next. This is a story that shows you how to write in order, right? Sequence. So it says, what comes next? What comes next? Actually, a math book, in which is very interesting for writing, right? Big, small, big, small, big. What comes next? So this book is just basically talking about order, right? Using a pattern technique. So it says, big, small, big, small, big. What comes next? Small, right? So yeah, tall, short, tall, short, tall. What comes next? Well, we already know that short will come next. So the purpose of me reading this book is to show you what the author means about order, right? First, next, then last. Hopefully this book was very helpful for you to understand what I mean by order. Okay? Okay. So remember, when you are writing your personal narratives, you need to be asking yourself these questions. Okay? Let me get my pointer for you. What happened first, next, and last? And what do you want to tell about this story, right? There's a lot of stuff that probably happened, or a lot of things that probably happened within your story, but you want to make sure that you're focusing on the most important details, because you can't tell every single thing that happened in the story, right? So you just want to focus on the most important details. All right, little happy writers, let me show you exactly how you can start your writing piece. So here is an example of Miss Kitchen's writing piece. And like I said, I was going to be talking about my birthday. That's why you see a picture of a birthday cake. All right. So here it says, at my birthday party, I had a chocolate cake with balloon candles. Now, hopefully that was the hook that got my readers interested in wanting to read furthermore of my story. And then as you can see here, I immediately started with the word first, because I'm going to tell my readers what happened first. So first, my mom brought the cake out. Next, she lit the candles. Then, sorry, my baby's being really loud. Get some more here. Then we sang happy. Now, you need to make sure that you are talking in a past tense. So you're not going to say we sing, because we're not doing that in the moment, right? Your storytelling is something that happened in the past. So you need to talk in past tense. Ask your mom and dad exactly what that is, and they'll tell you how to do that. Okay? So, wait, all right, yeah, I think I'm done. Okay? So those are my sentences. I made sure I used capital letters at the beginning of my sentences. I made sure that I use the appropriate punctuation marks at the end of my sentences. And I have lowercase letters in between my sentences, okay? Make sure you're doing the same thing. Hopefully this was helpful for you too. And I labeled my picture to let my readers know that this is the birthday cake that I had at my birthday party with balloon candles. Okay? All right, little happy writers. So, how can you be successful in today's writing? Well, we already know that you want to make sure that you have your materials, that you watch this video, and that you have your have to, right? So today's have to, we are going to keep writing true stories. Remember, I need you to make sure your story is in the right order. Try to add some repetition to it, but do not make it a pattern book. And make sure your pictures match your words. Now, this is a pattern book, but it does have much repetition. Repetition means it has order, right? First, this happened. Secondly, this happened. Thirdly, this happened. Okay? The reason why I use this book is because we're home and Miss Kitchens does not have a book that we can use that doesn't have pattern in it. It doesn't have much repetition in it. So I use this book to just show you what I mean by order, okay? I will write a story using storytelling elements. I will try to use repetition in the story without it being a pattern. Repetition means just talking about exactly what happened in the story, staying on topic. I will map out stories and make sure events are in order. I will write across pages, check for punctuation, capitalization, and punctuation. Okay. And as you always know, during writing, your free write is to write about whatever you want to write about. Okay? This is about you and no one else. All right, little happy writers. So today we talked about adding more to our narrative pieces and making sure that we're writing in sequence, right? First, next, then last. That's all you need to do today is make sure that you have those words on your paper. First, this happened. Next, this happened. Lastly, this happened. First, next, then, and last. Okay? And I will see you tomorrow for writing of day 41. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Happy writing, little writers. And that's all.